Hi, lovely people. I obviously picked a bad day to fly. Today, what did we see? We saw crazy, crazy closing arguments in the YSL case. I am traveling, guys. I am in Atlanta for Thanksgiving, visiting some family and friends. So I'm really excited to finally be set up, get the streaming stuff going, and we're going to do the late night shift. Now, am I going to put you guys through hell, and are you going to watch 11 hours of what transpired today? Probably not. But what we are going to do is I do want to, and I've been watching throughout the day, like throughout the entire day, I've been taking copious notes. In fact, we're going to start the day off early tomorrow so I can give you guys a recapped, like just boom, 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 quick and dirty version of what you saw in each closing argument. Why? Because the jury's going to have to make sure that they start deliberation. It could be a quick process. It could not be a quick process. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to watch Simone Hilton on faster speed because you can't do that live. Shout out to me. All right, we did something different. We're going to watch her in faster speed. And then tomorrow morning, I am going to break down the notes that I have put together for you guys, both on Max's closing and both on Doug Weinstein's closing. It is in bullet point form, right? So it's going to be very, very fast, quick and dirty. I'm not going to keep you guys here for a long time. And then shout out to chat. Chat, how are y'all doing? Did y'all miss me today? Can you put a 1 in the chat if you missed me? Like, and if you didn't, that's fine. But some of you were actually putting out SOSs. You were sending smoke signals. I was really, really thrilled to see that people cared. Shout out to Variant, who was first. It says, where you been? Shout out to G Knight, who's in the building. Shout out to Chris, who's like, hold on, can I just say that you're gorgeous? Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Shout out to Kelly. Laura's in the building. Vietnamese style. Salute to you. Chrissy's here. Aaron, Olivia. And for anybody that has missed any of the shenanigans today, you can watch with me real quick. Shout out to Bison Bill. Just saw a comment from you a little while ago. Dub right side in the building as well. All my favorite folks are in here. Shout out to Here Comes Drama. Lally, she says, we miss you so much. I miss you. You guys have no idea. If there was ever a day where I was itching to stream, it was today. It was today. You have no idea. So I'm really excited to jump in. So without further delay, we are going to just jump into Simone Hilton's closing. Because here's what I can tell you. When we started the day, we saw a few things. One, we saw someone else from the state deliver their initial closing argument. And of course, if I had my soundboard, we would hit a button because that closing took forever. 2.5 hours allotted to them. Then you have the first defense attorney, Max Shard. He went up next. He took, I think, a little bit over 2 hours. Doug Weinstein took about 45 minutes. And then you saw this rant, this masterpiece that we are about to watch from Simone Hilton. Now, if you guys are real hardcore fans of mine, then you know your girl recently did a photo shoot wearing a what? Red suit. And it was really interesting to see the entire prosecution team, the women, they were wearing red suits. That was crazy. And you guys have been leaving comments all over my social media reminding me of the red suits. Now, just going to go ahead, hit play. We're going to watch this on double speed. Actually, let's do 1.5 because Simone talks fast anyway. But here we go. She comes in right around here. This is the last thing that they heard.
Where'd she go? She needs to, she's getting here.
Did Miss Love not talk?
Ms. Hilton, I know that you're, batting cleanup, I guess, but keep in mind they're gonna be watching the clock. They're not used to staying until 7 or 8.
Oh, Aaron, I made you guys a beautiful slideshow. Wait till you see it.
All right, so the instructor.
Look at the red.
Thank you very much. All right, Ms. Hilton.
Good evening. I know y'all tired. And I get the harsh responsibility of closing you out for the next couple of, for a little while, I can tell you how long. For a little while. And I just want you all to bear with me, and bear with us as we see. Mr. Agnes told you this morning that it was kind of like that marathon. They were kind of at that last spot, right before the finish line. And I know this has been a long trial, and like every one of us has said, we thank you for your sacrifice. We know that we have taken you away from family, friends, trips, work, maybe not even money to work, but from work, to be here with us. And so we're going to ask of you just to bear with us for a little while longer. Now, Mr. Weinstein said something very interesting as he closed. He said something to the effect of, the state should be ashamed of themselves for targeting people of color. And I was a little taken aback. Why? Because I am a person of color. The majority of this prosecution team are people of color. And we are not targeting people of color. We are targeting gang members who decided to wreak havoc on communities in Fulton County. And the ironic part of the community that they violated were those communities were communities of color. See, no one rarely talks about the victims in this case. But the victims in this case, most of them are people of color. Because in Fulton County, you don't get to victimize anyone in our county without being held accountable for your actions. And what we're going to ask of you today is hold both of these offenders accountable for their actions, because they are guilty of every single crime for which they are charged. But as both Mr. Shard and Mr. Weinstein were talking, I was reminded that what is right is often forgotten or what's convenient. And see, in this case for them, it's convenient to blame Kenneth Copeland for the murder of Jonathan Thomas. Well, we're going to talk about that. That doesn't even make sense. For them, it is convenient to tell you that we have not met the elements of RICO because they're just not a gang. They just get YSL tatted on them. They just get snakes tatted on them just for the fun of it. That's convenient for them, but that's not the truth. And while it may have taken some time for us to get all that evidence out here, it took a while. Some days the evidence came out good. Some days the evidence came out bad. Some days I had to take a couple of breaks. At the end of the day, the evidence shows what is clear. YSL is a gang. YSL is an enterprise. They commit criminal street gang activity. They murdered Jonathan Thomas, murdered Chanel Drake, and they're guilty. And then I'm also reminded of a story that a colleague told me a long time ago about someone who worked as a Border Patrol officer. And this person worked as a Border Patrol officer for a number of years. And while they were working Border Patrol, a guy would come through the border with a red bike every day. And every day that that person would come through with a red bike, he had a basket on the front of the bike. And inside of the basket was some food. Now, every day this guy would come through, and the Border Patrol officer thought something was kind of fishy, but he never found anything. He always found baskets with sand inside. This happened for a few months. Well, one day, the Border Patrol guy was leaving that job. He was going on to a new job, and he was at a bar. And who walked into the bar? The guy with the red bike. So the Border Patrol guy says to him, I'm getting ready to leave my job, but I'm interested. There's something was fishy about that red bike. What were you doing with that red bike? And the guy was like, nothing, don't worry about it. Congratulations to you. The night proceeded. The Border Patrol guy got some more drinks in the system, said, you know what? Can you tell me about this red bike? Because something just doesn't seem right. Every time I would see the red bike, it would have sand in the basket. Tell me what was going on. Guys, don't worry about it. Finally, it's the end of the night. Border Patrol guy is really complicated. He said, just tell me, I'm not going to remember what happened. You're not going to get in trouble. Tell me what you were doing. And what the guy said was, you know how every day you were focused on the basket with the sand? I was smuggling in a new red bike every single day. So you were so focused on what was in the basket that you was missing what was right in front of you. And if you listen to what the defense counsel told you for the last about 3.5 hours they argued, you're going to miss what's right in front of you. So what's sand in the basket in this case? First things first, stolen jewelry. APD, somebody stole this watch. No one stole the watch. The watch is left back in the house. But they want you to focus on this watch, because if you focus on the watch, you won't miss the evidence in front of you. Talked about no reports. You know, Viverito, she didn't write any reports. Well, what she told you is, she wrote her information in the affidavits. Affidavits that get sworn before a judge. Probably better than reports, because a judge has to actually read that information. But if you focus on the fact that Viverito didn't write any reports, you're going to miss it right in front of you. Mr. Wines, we talked about length of time, we talked about that. Knowledge of co-conspirators. I think at one point in time, Mr. Shar said, Mr. Minor, who stabbed Lucci, he doesn't know Mr. Kendrick or Mr. Stillwell? Maybe not. But he knows Khalid Adams, who's the one who helped set up stabbing Lucci. Khalid Adams knows those two, well, knows Mr. Stillwell. Khalid Adams knows Garlington. And so, some way, somehow, though, Mr. Stillwell knew on February 9th that Lucci got stabbed. Well, how does he know that? How is that in a text message? That wasn't broadcast to the world. So this idea that just because Mr. Meyer doesn't know him specifically does not mean that they're not guilty of the crime of which they committed. They talk about witness credibility, specifically about experts and what our experts said. But if you go back to any of our experts' testimony, Belknap, Dennis, Gaither, Underwood, the things that they talked about, there were examples of it. They talked about YSL was a hybrid gang. It was Bloods and Crips, and they kind of got together. Well, we know that because Martinez Arnold's a Crip. Some of them, Mr. Williams was a Blood. You saw me talk about sex, money, murder.
This is interesting, guys. I cannot wait to talk about this. And real quick, just because we're on a roll tonight, Ashley Merchant will be joining us in a few days, and I'm going to ask her about this because Martinez Arnold is her client. So I'm very, very curious. And while I'm stopping, huge shout out to the Little Gaming channel. Really appreciate you with the $50 super chat. I missed you guys more than you know. Thank you so much. Let's go right back on in. I see you, Miss L Boogie, and a few others that have dropped supers too. But let's go back to this debauchery.
See them hanging out together. You see them committing crimes together. Mr. Kendrick and Mr. Arnold in a car with guns on their way to Trestle Street. We can infer, go shoot it up. That's what they talked about when it says a hybrid gang. They talked about the music, and we're going to get to the music in a minute. They talked about the fact that gang members use their music in order to brag, promote what they've done in the gang. And we'll see examples of that in a moment. We talked about your duty earlier today, but again, just to be reminded, you're supposed to be a fair and impartial juror, honestly seeking the truth. You are not to seek doubt. So when you go in the fact, you're supposed to say to yourself, what happened on January 10th? What is the truth about that? And is there evidence towards the truth? That is what you're here for. Seek the truth, you follow the law, and you deliberate. Now, I want to tell you this. If you go to the bank to deliberate, and one of your numbers says, I'm not deliberating, I'm going to the bathroom, I'm not doing any of this, you need to bring that to the deputy's attention so they can bring it to the court's attention. Because you have a duty to deliberate. A duty to sit down, evaluate the facts, evaluate the evidence, and apply it to the law. So let's talk about the evidence of defendant's guilt. So earlier this morning, Mr. Adkins talked to you about count 57, participation in criminal street day activity. He talked to you about count 1, conspiracy to violate the RICO Act, and counts 50 and 51. I'm not going to harp on that again, but I thought it interesting when Mr. Weinstein said, well, we haven't proved counts 50 and 51 and 57. You know, the state, they're all dressed in red. We are. Red's probably my favorite color. But you know the one thing that's different? We don't do criminal gang activity. And the court's going to define what that is. See, we're not here because people wear the same colors. They can wear all the greens they want. They can wear all the snakes they want. If they all want to tattoo YSL on them, that's fine. We told it's not a crime to be a part of a gang. The crime is when you start doing criminal street gang activity, like murdering Donovan Thomas, murdering Chanel Drinks, murdering Jamari Holmes. That is what the violation is, not being a member of a gang. So you'll see, and we said it again, that on the left-hand side were the charges for Mr. Kendrick, on the right-hand side were the charges for Mr. Stillwell, in the middle is what they were both charged with. So Mr. Kendrick is charged with possession of marijuana with intent to distribute. That's from May 9, 2022, when he was found running from Mr. Williams' house. Remember, the officer came and said that they both must have been out of breath and he ran from the house. And the drugs and the guns that were found inside the house. The marijuana and the guns that were found in the house. So in order to prove this, we have to show that the defendant possessed with the intent to distribute any amount of marijuana. Marijuana includes all parts of the plant. What it does not include is the hemp products and all those other technical terms that I'm not going to try to pronounce for you tonight. We have to show that he possessed it, and it has possessed the marijuana or firearm. We're going to talk about the firearm in a moment. Possession must be actual, constructive, sold, or joint. So we're going to tell you that it's not actual possession. No one caught him with the marijuana in the hand. We're going to talk about constructive possession. At the time of the alleged offense, he did not have direct physical control over the marijuana or firearm, but did knowingly have both the ability and the intention to exercise control over the marijuana. So we know he doesn't have sole possession, so we're going to focus on joint possession. Defendant share possession of marijuana or firearm with at least one other person. What evidence do we have? And I know Mr. Weinstein, we didn't have any evidence. We do. Pictures are evidence. That's direct evidence like we talked about earlier. This is the side of the home of Mr. Williams. That's the money counter that was sitting next to the Tupperware bowl full with the marijuana. That's the Tupperware bowl full with the marijuana. That's the more marijuana that was in that cabinet in that same kitchen, right across from where the Tupperware bowl with the marijuana was. And those are the 2 guns that were found inside that area. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you heard the testimony that SWAT, when they came, did not immediately make entry into the house. It was like announced, it was loud. So I submit to you that they had the opportunity to put stuff away, to hide stuff, because they didn't just come in immediately, ladies and gentlemen. So you can take that into consideration as you deliberate. Possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. So the state must prove that the defendant had a firearm on his person or within arm's reach while committing a crime against or involving another person. For Mr. Stillwell, it's murder. For Mr. Kendrick, it's the possession of marijuana with intent to distribute. So how do we show this? On the left is Shannon Stillwell. That is Mr. Drake inside of the vehicle. We know that Mr. Drake was shot with a 40 caliber gun, possibly of a Glock, and we're going to talk about this Glock in a moment. So you can infer, although we do not have the gun, that Mr. Stillwell possessed the gun that shot and killed Mr. Drake because he's dead and because we have the bullets. You can infer that that's a circumstantial evidence. Your direct evidence is someone is deceased. You have bullets. We know those bullets come from a firearm. So the only way you can infer that the shooter, Mr. Stillwell, possessed a firearm. Mr. Kendrick, again, you had the firearms inside of the house at the time when the house was raided. There were 2 found inside of that cabinet. There was the one that's found on this counter. Now, they're also both charged with possession of a firearm by convicted felon. You have to show for Mr. Stillwell, he has 2 counts. And interestingly enough, I was listening, Mr. Shaw never talked about count 64. But we're going to talk about count 64. But count 52 is that he's a convicted felon and he had a firearm when he murdered Chanel Drinks. And in count 64, which is when he was apprehended, the gun that was found in the middle of the road, that we charged him with that weapon as well. And then again with Mr. Kendrick, that there were guns and drugs at Allison Drive on May 9th. And let me also say that in the indictment, possession of a firearm by convicted felon is going to be a lesser included of what is charged. What is charged is a different charge, but possession of a firearm by convicted felon is a lesser charge, and the court is going to instruct you, and you can find both of them guilty so long as you believe that both of them possess a firearm and they have been previously convicted of a felony. What do you have in evidence? You have State Exhibit 60G and State Exhibit 30Q. Both of those are the indictments of Mr. Stillwell, which he was charged with and convicted of a felony. So that is the felony that we're saying he should not have been in violation of, or he should not have possessed a firearm. As I just discussed, because he's a convicted felon, he should have never had a firearm when he murdered Chanel Drinks. For count 64, what do we have? Remember, this is on March 17th, after they fled from the Chick-fil-A, and remember, Trooper Campbell came in and said that he found the gun in the middle of the road. You saw the dash cam video, he kind of turned around and said, and found this gun. Then we brought in Mr. Stillwell's former girlfriend at the time, Taisha Alexander. She said that she had worked the gun, that was her gun. That gun came back to Ms. Alexander, where we were able to compare the serial numbers on both the gun that was collected and the receipt from Arrowhead Pond. And further, we played these wiretap calls for you.
Hello? Yeah. I don't know. Trying to call like you play on hockey tape to the Baba house.
Yeah.
Why can't he hockey tape if he's a real legit?
Yeah.
He got my legit gun.
So the fact that she says he got my legit gun, which is that gun right here, he should never have ever even been in possession of it.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what's going on either, because you know, usually they'll call like how you got my gun.
Yeah.
They'll call me like, come get your gun, but they didn't even call me. So I don't know if he got my gun, they don't know what's going on.
And again, this phone call was done on March 17th, the day he got arrested. The day he, Mr. Stillwell, got arrested. Now for Mr. Kendrick, you have in evidence Exhibit 487 BV, which is a certified copy of conviction of Mr. Kendrick. And again, because he's a convicted felon, he should not have been in constructive possession of any of these guns that are inside the home. So now, based upon what we have shown you, they are guilty of, right now, count 1, count 50, 51, 52, 54, 57, 58, 61, 63, and 64. So let's spend some time on the murders, because that is what we need to talk about. So for the murders, Mr. Stillwell is charged with count 2 and count 49, which is Donovan Thomas Jr. and Chanel Drinks. And Mr. Kendrick is charged solely with count 2, which is the death of Donovan Thomas Jr. You're going to hear the court read you an instruction about intent. Intent is every essential element of any crime must be proved by the state beyond a reasonable doubt. It may be shown in many ways, provided that you, the jury, believe that it existed from the proven facts before you. It may be inferred from the proven circumstances or by acts and conduct, or it may be in your discretion inferred when it is a natural and necessary consequence of the act. Intent does not mean an intention to violate the law or to violate a criminal statute, but it means simply the intention to commit the act that is prohibited by the statute. So what is it? What are the elements that we have to prove for murder? That Mr. Stillwell and Mr. Kendrick caused the death of another person, here, Donovan Thomas and Chanel Drake, unlawfully and with malice aforethought. What is malice? It is not necessarily ill will or hatred, rather it is the unlawful intent to kill. You may find malice when the circumstances show that the defendant acted with deliberate intention to unlawfully take the life of another person, or where there does not appear to be significant provocation and all the circumstances show an abandoned and malignant heart. You often hear about premeditation. Some of you like watching these crime shows. The state does not have to prove premeditation to prove murder. So we don't just sit and say you planned it out and you all mapped it out and that you knew you were going to kill Donovan Thomas or Shamel Drinks right at that moment. If a killing is done with malice, it is murder regardless of how briefly the malicious intent existed. So when Diamante Kendrick rode by the barbershop and they saw Donovan Thomas sitting outside with his friends, and I'm going to submit to you, they started calling and saying, yo, Donovan's out here. Let's go do this. That's enough. Or with Shamel Drinks, when Shannon and Garlington are sitting in the car and they're backed in and they see Mr. Drinks pull in and they realize, oh snap, that's the dude from the Shell Cow post. And they see him walking up and they decide at that moment they're going to get him because they're going to get revenge, they're going to get back. That's enough right there. Doesn't have to be days planned. Within moments, that is enough. No specific length of time is required for malice to arise in the defendant's mind. It may be formed in a moment, and instantly a fatal wound may be inflicted. If malice is in the defendant's mind at the time of the act of the killing and moves the defendant to do it, that is enough for the killing to be murder. Now, motive. The law says we don't have to prove motive. You want to know why? Because oftentimes I can't get into the mind of why someone wants to murder somebody. But here, and we're going to talk about it, we have some evidence of motive. Any evidence of motive has been admitted for your use to determine the defendant's state of mind at the time of the killing. So you heard Mr. Agnes talk earlier about parties to a crime. I'm not going to go over all the principles again, but he gave you the example of the bank robbery, right?
Oh my God.
Everyone who is a part
I'm sorry, guys. This is already starting off bad. I couldn't hold it. I was going to wait and like give y'all some commentary, but since we're only doing Hilton's part, I think we have enough time with 1.25 speed. What she is putting in front of the jury right now, and she just said that Atkins spent the morning doing this, is like fundamental legal things. You know, so parties to a crime. Here's how you can determine who's a party to a crime. Notice the photographs. Notice the pictures. Notice the photo. Look at the clip art that they picked. Like the clip art, the guys, it's a masked robber. You put this in front of the fucking jury? Like, are you kidding me? Like, the state is doing this in power red suits. If you're not telling me that this is not an imbalance of power, like a lot of these closing arguments are theatrics, and they have to be theatrical. The shitty part about Hilton is that she went last. And I think around the time that she started, it was 6 p.m. And around the time she ended, it was 8 p.m. Those people were sitting in those funky chairs from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. That is a long time. And don't forget, chat. Do y'all know how much this jury gets paid a day? How much does it, chat, tell me, how much does this jury get paid a day? In a day. Who's gonna guess it? Who's gonna guess it? Who guessed it? Shout out to Pretty Eyes. Yes, $25. Hood Classic got it to $25 from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The state started with a very dry, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm predicting it was one of the driest arguments that you've seen ever, right? And then they're using the aid of PowerPoint presentations. But notice how they're putting it together. Parties to a crime. I remember this from criminal law and criminal procedure in law school. It is one of the most simplest concepts to learn in criminal law. However, if you're going to start with your narrative and you're like, okay, Doug said this, here's why he's wrong. Max said this, here's why he's wrong. But right now you're showing me 4 people decide to rob a bank. What in the motherfucking fuck does that have to do with the people that are in front of us right now? These 2 defendants. What are you doing? If you were a juror, dear viewer, and you are sitting there and it is almost time to go home and this case is about to wrap up, and if this slide came up, how would you feel? It's crazy. Parties to a crime. Like, what are you talking about? And then before this, it was like 5 minutes ago, I was trying to hold my thoughts, but she was talking about possession, like Yak Gotti, I think. had something on his possession. I don't know if it was the drugs or the firearms that she was talking about specifically, but she had a full slide breaking down what possession means. There's two types of it. We don't care. Tell us how these people are guilty. Tell us, for the love of God, in the red suits. Let's keep going and watching more debauchery.
Of the crime is responsible. So in this case, for Donovan Thomas, Mr. Kendrick, the driver. Mr. Kendrick, the state's belief, the state's theory, is that he alerted them about where Donovan Thomas was, because he was the one that was at the Texaco.
I'm going to judge the clip art. I'm going to judge the clip art.
He's the one who got out of the Bonneville and went to the amphibian. He's just as guilty as the ones who pulled the trigger, Nard and Mr. Jackson. He's just as responsible. And that's what parties to a crime says. Every person involved in the murder is just as responsible as the person who pulls the trigger, because you all act together. Now, we have in Chanel Drinks an individual that you kept hearing about, DeMarco Boyer. And someone brought up that DeMarco Boyer isn't on the indictment. Well, this is the law that's going to be instructed to you. Any party to a crime who did not directly commit the crime may be prosecuted for commission of the crime upon proof that the crime was committed and that that person was a party to it, even though the person alleged to have directly committed the crime has not been prosecuted or convicted, has been convicted of a different crime or degree of crime, is not amenable to justice, or has been acquitted. Mr. Boyer's day is for another day. We're not going to talk about Mr. Boyer today. Today, we're going to talk about Mr. Stillwell and Mr. Kendrick. You can look at presence, companionship, and conduct before and after the commission of the alleged offense, and those things may be considered by you in determining whether or not the circumstances, if any, give rise to an inference for the existence of a conspiracy. So what does that mean? You can look at what they did before, what they did during, and what they did after. And for both of those murders, we're going to talk about conduct before, conduct during, and conduct after. So let's talk about Mr. Donovan Thomas Jr. You heard from his mother, you heard from his father. He was from Atlanta, he had kids, he was in a gang, but he had started to kind of try to get into the music business. And he had started doing that by, one, he had a relationship with Rich Homie Quan, two, he had just put Lucci on, YSL Lucci. So he was trying to kind of turn that market and do something different. What did you also hear about Donovan Thomas? That on the night that he was gunned down, that he was at the barbershop, getting his haircut, his brother was there, and what were they getting ready to do? Meet with their dad to watch the football game. I think it was the Ravens and the Patriots. Don't quote me if I'm wrong, but I think it was the Ravens and the Patriots. And that's what he was getting ready to do. Spend time with his father. You know that he has a biological brother, but he also has a brother which they tell the wives who's super close to him that they are brothers, but not biologically, but they share brothers, so they call themselves brothers. He said he was trying to get in the music industry. That's him with YSL Lucci. That's him with Rich Homie Quan. And so much so that after his death, Lucci had a whole album dedicated to him, Long Live Nut. And we know that Peanuts was his nickname. Now let's go over some timelines, because I think oftentimes we focus just on the murder, but there's some things that led up to that day that is very important for you to consider as you continue to live. So we know September 2014, Rich Homie Quan's father's barbershop shooting. Now Mr. Copeland, we don't talk about Mr. Copeland.
Woody did it.
Understand here that him and Threat were responsible for that. YSL members responsible for shooting up the shop of a YSL gang member.
But Woody's
Or
not
shooting
there.
The father of his gang associate. Then, if you can recall, in all of the different interviews, majority of them, Mr. Copeland talked about this shooting at the Lakewood gambling house. He talked about it in mostly every interview when he kept on telling them about the history of him and Kelvin. And he talked about the fact that Kelvin had shot up the gambling house and shot up Thug's car. Then he talks about, in multiple interviews, a meeting at Cascade Stadium, in which him and Kel were there. Kel wanted Copeland to call Thug so they can maybe squash whatever issue that they had. And that when Thug, Mr. Williams, got on the phone, he asked Kelvin, "Are you going to pay for my car window?" Kelvin said no. They got into it, and it kept on going. You heard about the January 6th fight at Club Crucial, in which Copeland was jumped at the club, and then upon leaving the club, there was a fight with Bloody J, that some YSL members jumped on Bloody J, and that Kendrick and Arnold, they were arrested when they left the club. And that's going to be important, because when we talk about phone records, why we don't have some phone records with Mr. Kendrick. Then we have the January 8th shooting at TIG Studio, where Rich Homie Quan's purple truck was shot up. There was some alluding to the fact that Copeland did that shooting. I think Darius Zachary may have said in his interview that Copeland did that shooting. Then there was that blood meeting the night before the murder.
Alluding.
Now, I know that Mr. Sharp.
Alluding? Did she say alluding? That, okay, come on. See, like, we're on this for count two. She's going through the timeline through this whole nut thing and the conspiracy. And I did see the part where Max did allude to the fact that someone admitted to committing those crimes. Someone else besides his client, which he rightfully has to say, someone else committed that crime. I mean, the jury heard Woody say that he did some of this stuff. But remember, little Woody is not one of the defendants that's in that room today or tomorrow that these jurors need to make decisions on. He's not. So, this entire timeline, 6 boxes, all concern the murder of Donovan Thomas, the things leading up to that. But it's mentioning Woody as the heart of it, right? So let's keep that in mind as she continues.
I'll play for you the clip in which Copeland said that the blood meal was about him. But remember, the blood meal was also about Mr. Williams. And he said that in one of his interviews. That the blood meal just wasn't about him, but it was about him, Copeland, and Mr. Williams. Then on January 10th, you had the death of or the murder of Mr.
Did that just turn red? Hold on.
Then you have the retaliation.
That wasn't red before, was
But there's
it?
that-
Oh my God. Oh my. Did you see that? Did you notice that, chat? Look at the box that says September 14th. Look at what they did.
In his interview that Copeland did that shooting. Then there was that blood meeting the night before the murder. Now, I know that Mr. Sharp played for you the clip in which Copeland said that the blood meal was about him. But remember, the blood meal was also about Mr. Williams. And he said that in one of his interviews. That the blood meal just wasn't about him, but it was about him, Copeland, and Mr. Williams. Then on January
No,
10th,
they didn't.
For the murder of Mr. Thomas at 3:30 McDaniel.
They're using color. They're using color theory in their closing argument. They're wearing red suits. They're wearing red ties. They're talking about Donovan Thomas, who is a blood, the third highest ranking blood in the state of Georgia. You think he didn't commit crimes? And now you're putting this crazy presentation in front of the jury and the timeline is turning red. Unbelievable.
Then you have the retaliatory shootings begin immediately. See, the streets knew, but it took the state and the government a long time to figure out. They went directly to who they thought killed Donovan Thomas. They immediately started shooting at Jeffrey Williams' family's house and Kenneth Copeland's family's house because they thought that both of them were in on it. Also, in the late morning hours, early on January 11th, Kenneth Copeland meets with the Atlanta Police Department and many of the YSL members, they flee to Miami. You have more retaliatory shootings. Then in April, between April and May of 2015, you had the incident at Dunbar Center where Copeland is found with that gun. They don't arrest him then. He calls Gaither speaks to him, they let him go. But once they did more investigation, they got the video surveillance from the Dunbar Center. They arrest him on June 10th. And then that's when he does the 9-hour interview that we'll discuss. In August of 2015 was when Darius Zachary's interview. In September 2015, Shannon becomes the target of 2 shootings, one at the Green Store, the other one with Ms. Tierra Jones. In October 2015, arrest warrants are taken out for Garlington, Copeland, Sledge, and Stillwell. In November 2015, there was a preliminary hearing. The case was dismissed against Sledge. In 2016, the case was dismissed against Garlington and Copeland, and Stillwell received a bond. Between 2016 and 2018, there was an additional investigation and follow-up, and the indictment came in 2022. We're going to talk more about these dates, but I want to give everyone a general timeline overview. As Mr. Agus talked to you about earlier, you determine the credibility of the witnesses. And I can't remember if Mr. Shard or Mr. Weinstein said it, but they are absolutely right. We don't choose our witnesses. The witnesses and our victims are chosen by the crimes that are committed. So when you do your gang murder and you brag to your gang member friends that you murdered someone, then the person I have to bring in here to tell you what happened is the gang member friend. And the gang member friend isn't going to want to tell you in front of them what they told the police. So that's why I had to fight. Ms. Love got to fight. We got to argue with them back and forth because now they have to come in here and confront the people that they snitched on in front of them. So, and they know that. They know that none of these witnesses want to come in here and say what they told police. And if they say, I don't know, I mean, he did swore oath in court and said that he told God's honest truth. He's going to tell God's honest truth in this courtroom. Maybe some of the stuff he told was truthful. Here it is. Like he said, he's doing a little bit of truth sometimes, that's what he said, right? Because he did that a little bit, and we'll talk about that in a moment. What's going to be important are prior statements. It is important because you as a juror get to determine the witness credibility, right? And this may be affected by you comparing and contrasting the testimony to statements or testimony of that same witness before trial started. You, the jury, can decide whether there's a reasonable explanation for any inconsistency in a witness's pre-trial statements or testimony when compared to that same trial testimony. And we'll actually apply common sense and reason to decide what testimony you believe or do not believe. So let's go through the evolution of Kenneth Rudy Copeland. Let's take some time, all right?
So I heard that they spelled Wooty incorrectly on the slide, but real quick interruption. Thank you so much, ZMT Indy, for gifting 20 AV memberships. Really appreciate you, ZMT, doing the night shift tonight. You guys have been looking for me all day. It's been a day. Started the day with a delayed flight, but I finally made it to Atlanta, and I have been taking notes all morning for you guys, and definitely going to be breaking down Max's closing argument and Doug's closing argument. We're probably going to start a little bit earlier tomorrow before court starts, just so you guys can get caught up on that. But I definitely wanted to look at this. ZMT, thank you for building this community and investing in it. If you received a membership from ZMT ND, please say thank you. Super, super sweet. Did not have to do that, and also extremely generous. Let's go back to the debauchery and the evolution of Wooty Copeland. Wonderful spelling there. Let's keep going.
This is hours after the murder. His girlfriend's house just got shot up, and they call him. Thorpe calls the girlfriend to kind of check in on and see what's happening with their shooting, and they put Copeland on the phone. See, on January 11th, when he walks inside, he's real strong YSL, right? He's not trying to give up his friends. He want to let the police know, I didn't murder. Let me tell you something. I didn't murder Diamond Thomas. I'm telling you, at the girlfriend's house. I'm gonna tell you, I went to the green stove. I went to McDonald's. He's not gonna give you too much information because here, he's trying to still protect his friends. That's just common sense. The police don't really know what's going on yet. So when he first goes there, he's trying to protect his friends. But then we get January 28th. See, if y'all remember, y'all, this is after he gets out the shootout on the highway. See, this is after he came from the little pool party, and he on his way home, and they shoot at him at the highway. And remember, in this interview, he talks about, I believe, Shannon being upset with him because he didn't want to shoot back. So here, he's trying to tell them everything that YFN people are doing to him, but he's still not trying to give up his friends. He has to stay his friends. But he's a little frustrated because everyone's blaming him for murdering Donovan Thomas, and everyone's shooting back at him, shooting him, and he didn't do anything. Then we get February 20th. Now this was the worst one because that's when he's trying to come out the house and take his baby to the hospital, and they come down the street shooting at him. So now he's like, they are shooting at me, they shooting at my baby and my girl. Look, this is too much. And he tells them about what happened. Again, this is an interview where he really didn't want to give up who shot at him. He knew who did it, but see that gang street code is he still didn't want to give up the person who shot at him and his baby. And that's when Kurt was like, they're not going to tell me who just shot at you with their baby. Then the next day was February 21st. They had arrested him for a violation of probation. He was upset because they arrested him on violation of probation. And Gaither talks to him, one, about the shooting that had happened the day before, and trying to get more information about the murder, trying to figure out what is going on. What is going on with this back and forth? Because by this time, and ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to go through that whole litany we're going to call Operation Planner shooting, but you heard evidence of all those shootings that were happening back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And they're trying to get a grasp of what is happening. And then we get to the 9-hour interview. So what happened between February and June? A lot. We got some back and forth shootings. Remember, Mr. Copeland went to jail for that violation of probation. He came out. He went to Henry County for a little while. And then, on June 10th, he gets arrested for the gun that he had at the gun bar center back in May. And what's going on here? Mr. Copeland is tired. He been getting shot at. His family been getting shot at. Homes getting shot up. Remember Kenneth First, Kenny Boo's house? His sister-in-law, his sister's child's father's home has been broken up from getting shot at. And Shannon and Mr. Williams not talking to him. Remember Shannon, and he thought Mr. Williams was trying to kill him. That's everything he talks about in this 9-hour interview. And let me say this, if some reason y'all want to watch all these interviews again, y'all can. You just gotta let them know. I don't know if you want to sit there watching 9-hour interview again, but if you want to, you can. But in this interview, he is at the place where enough is enough for him. And I'm going to tell you about Mr. Copeland, I'm going to tell you about Quindarius Avery. They are self-preservationists. What do I mean by that? They're going to not talk about what they do, because they don't want to go to jail. But if telling on them is going to get me out of jail, I'm going to tell you what's happened. Because I don't want to go to jail. He's absolutely right. He did not want to go to jail. But he's not going to lie to the police about what they did. He's going to minimize what he's done. And that's what he did in this interview for 9 hours. He minimized his involvement in some things, but he told everything that they did. And if you don't believe what he told the police, well, let's listen to what he told his girlfriend on the jail call.
Hello? Yeah. No? Okay. Yeah. We try to do it every week. Come on, when yeah. True, no everything.
So in that call to his girlfriend, to the love of his life at the time, he tells them, I need you to come in so they can move, so they can know what I told them is true. They have to verify what I said. So when he came in and said, I would finesse the police, I would lie to them. No, because you wanted them to verify what you told them. And we're going to talk about how the police and Mike Sprinkle was able to verify what he told them. Listen to this June 16, 2015 call.
I'm sorry. She's trying to tell the jury that the reason why Woody would mix it, the reason why Woody would take a little bit of the truth and a little bit of the lie and mix it is because he wanted the detectives to verify what he was saying. What did they verify? There's stuff that came out that shows that they actually did not properly perform their investigation. This is funny. That is funny. Let's keep going.
They didn't go all the way home, man. Anyway.
So what does he say there? Why you put my name in the song? He know who did it. Because they all know who did it. They knew that it was Yak, Dua, Shannon, and Nard. And Kendrick is, Coleman is upset because he's like, why you put my name in the song? Put the ones who did it in the song. So they can stop targeting me. Now, let's talk about his trial testimony. I actually do like rap music, kind of very popular. And there is an artist, Young G, and he has a song called Put On. And I'm telling you what Copeland and Zachary did while they testified here, was they put on for YSL. They came in here acting all types of foolishness. And that's because they wanted to show their gang member friends, look, I'm still part of the conspiracy. I know I snitched on y'all back in 2015, but I'm gonna try to help y'all out the best that I can. And that's what they did this entire time. They friends. They've been friends for a long time. They wear the same clothes. They lay together. What makes you think that Demekion, when he got to that car, McDonald didn't say, yo, let me tell you what they just did. Let me tell you what our homie, our boy for the last couple of years just did. They just killed Nut. Because the kid wasn't around, he was sleeping at his girlfriend's house. So he missed the action. So you don't think when Demekion get in the car, he's not going to say, yo, let me tell you what Sharon just did, yo. They friends. And they want you to believe that Demekion did not tell Copeland what happened moments after it happened? That don't even make sense. And we want to use your common sense. This is them. And these were all taken in 2013, so some of these are older pictures. They look super young. This is how long they've been friends. Now, it was interesting when Mr. Shard asked, why we show you this video from 2009? Let me tell you why. Because Quindarius been around for a long time. Quindarius been around since 2009. So Quindarius knows about what's happening. See, we didn't just bring you stuff. I know some days you're like, why does the state bring me a video from 2009 in the park? It's to show the evolution of their relationships. Quindarius is a little bit different than Copeland. Because he's been around Mr. Williams much longer than Copeland's ever been in the picture. See, Mr. Copeland started coming around in 2014. And Mr. Zachary's loyalty is a little bit different. He's been around since 2009. So when Zachary tells you in his interview, Doug ain't know nothing about that murder. Yes, he did. But his loyalty is a little different because he's been around. 2012, that's Mr. Zachary. You want to know why we showed you the video of them outside in the apartment complex? To show their association. Again, Xavier been around again for a long time. He real better than it. He rocked through YSL. So he had a motive to lie for Jeffrey Williams that Kenneth doesn't have as much of. In his interview. See, when Quindarius interviewed, he asked to come speak to the police. And you're going to watch his interview, because what both of them do in their interviews, both Copeland and Quindarius, and this is how you know they were telling the truth, they would correct the officers. If the officer repeated something that was wrong, they would say, no, I didn't say it like that. I said it like this. That's what they would do. That's how you know that what they were trying to tell them, they were trying to be as truthful as they could so that they would get it right. They, being the police, would get it right. And again, same thing. He come in here talking about he want to take one of the investigators out, all types of nonsense. But again, putting on for YSL. And again, he's been around. They friends. They friends. And why would they lie on their friends? If they knew to make up stuff and make up lies, why would you lie and say your friends committed a murder? That doesn't make sense. Why lie? You could just say anybody committed the murder. If you just lying, you don't want anybody to verify what you were saying, you could have said anybody committed the murder. But that's not what they did. So there were a lot of different witnesses that came in about Donovan Thompson murder. We're going to talk specifically about these individuals. Investigator Thorpe, he was the original detective on the case. He took out those arrest warrants in October, and that was after talking to an individual by the name of Spencer Wright. He then turned his file over to Mike Sprinkle. Then we have both Dennis and Gaither. They were both, just because of the back and forth that they were investigating, just ended up talking a lot about the murder with all these different individuals. And then you have Kenneth Copeland and Quindarius Baker. And then what did Mike Sprinkle tell you? When he got the file, he reviewed it, and the first thing he did was realize that Spencer Wright was lying, and said, okay, I have to get rid of this information. And it was something that Mr. Shard said, which I found interesting. Mr. Shard said that Nicholas Robinson, aka Spencer Wright, is an example of individuals who would say anything to get out of jail. But the difference between Nicholas Robinson and Quindarius and Kenneth Copeland is that Mr. Sprinkle couldn't verify what Nicholas Robinson said, but he was able to verify what Quindarius and what Kenneth Copeland said. So did Mike Sprinkle corroborate Kenneth Copeland and Quindarius Baker? Emphatically, yes. So let's talk about the activity before the murder. And some of these are the videos, but there was no dispute about the Lakewood shooting in Club Crucial. And what you have in both of those interviews is that both Copeland and Zachary actually sat and talked about those shootings. I'm not going to play the video for you, just in an abundance of time, but we know that those two things, at least, were not disputed. So let's talk about the day of and the days after the murder. So what did Copeland tell you about that morning? What did the phone records tell you? I know that's kind of small, but you'll have the phone records in the back. That between 6:37 and 7:26, Copeland's phone was in the area of his girlfriend's house, right? That's what you are, Copeland's girlfriend's residence, on Maury. His phone was pinging in that area, and that's between 6:37 and 7:26. If you can recall, the 911 call for the murder came in at 7:22. At 7:26, he is still at his girlfriend's house after the murder. So this notion, when they say, well, Kenneth Copeland did it, I know somebody who could have done it, well, it wasn't Kenneth Copeland. The person who did it is Stillwell, Gat, Nard, and Dumas, because Kenneth Copeland was at his girlfriend's house at 7:26. Then he says he went to the green store. What did the phone record tell you? He went to the green store. He's at the green store at 7:28. Between 7:28, he's at the green store. And then he travels down towards the McDonald's, like he told me. And here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, about corroboration of phone records. He doesn't know he's going to pull the phone records later. He doesn't know that Mike Sprinkle in 2016, like almost 8 months after this, that we're going to pull the phone records to see whether or not what he's saying is true. I know he came in here sometimes, I got 2 phones, I had 2 phones, all this other stuff. He didn't have 2 phones. If he had 2 phones, the main phone is the phone that he was calling his girlfriend on. You can look at the records will show who he's talking to. He's talking to his brother and his girlfriend on the phone he's talking about. Corroboration, I'm not going to play it, but he says, you just heard him say he goes out to the McDonald's.
I thought they made home. Put it on that. People make it. So I thought you should get it. I thought people made it on their own. So he got it with him. So he was in. He was on video. So he was in. He said, I know that he did. It was D, no, and then the all the other doing. No. They like to do D, no, then they do. Check. And yet, all the one concept, the G, they actually had the white, they got, no, D got. So when D got code, D got money.
So we talked about the white nitro. Ladies and gentlemen, that is from the Dexter Montgomery shooting. What is that? That's the white nitro that Nard and DK came in from OG Bentley's house. So is it ironic that, oh my goodness, OG Bentley has a white Dodge nitro? That small fact is corroborated. He talks about getting the call from Antonio Sledge.
I got social FaceTime that, but it doesn't got shot. I heard, but I got some good names, I'm saying, like, I think he got toast.
And what I say is, we'll just go back very quickly. He told you that he FaceTimed with Antonio Sledge. We know that FaceTimes don't come on phone records, but that entire night, him, Antonio Sledge, and Zachary are in communication. What you will see is none of those three people rarely talk to another group of individuals that we'll talk about next. So again, things are corroborated that Copeland is saying. Here he's going to talk about that everybody went to Jeffrey Williams' condo.
So we were getting stressed. Where are they following out? They don't follow it. Okay, y'all follow this. Yeah, but when he told me, I didn't follow it. But if he got covered, I was like, she got to get one. So we followed the store. They stay downtown on Chicago. That's it. I found that. So I found that. But he's doing it. So that got covered. That's what he kept doing. Like, who? Like, he did point. Now, he had point to the arm. Yeah. So, like, well, yeah, but, so, for that, they put,
so here you'll have his phone records in the back. This shows phone activity near Mr. Williams' condo between that time of 7:31 and 11:22. Again, he talks about the condo. And remember, in this call, in this interview, he first talked to Gaither and ATF agent. Then later, Short came in. He kind of repeats what happened, right? And that's what is going on. But again, consistently talking about being around the condo. They both talk about going to Miami after the murder.
This is like that. It's not like all the time. So, man, like the people that around, he called him, and the person that around is a person, like person. So even him, I'm straight to Burger King. Like him, his sister, the girl, and all right, and yeah, and just like that, all them go straight to us. So they were good. Now, we called back at the credit. Now, I mean, like, where we cut out, I'm like, yeah, because I didn't do that, you know what I'm saying? And they about to be like, I have the phone walk up. And I walked out there, they like, what? So you went back and talked to me. Those my time. We didn't know my time. Where do you go? We went to Florida. Okay. That night, she put both before we went to bed, like that one. Well, we did, before I went out to me, Shannon, B, Woody, yeah, no.
So that's them both talking about them going in to Miami. Now, in court, that's probably one thing that they talked about, that they all went to Miami. But they all said they went for this concert in Miami. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we showed you all the flyers, and there's no flyer in Miami for January 10th, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. The only flyer in Miami, or in Florida, was in Tampa Bay. So the question becomes, why are y'all going to Florida right after Donovan Thomas was murdered? To plea. Because YSL knew what they did, and they had to get up out of Dodge. And they went down to Birdman's house to lay low until things, maybe some of the dust starts to settle. And we had a phone record to show you all that they all went to Miami, all the different phone records in Miami after the murder, and the times that they all went after the murder. Now, we talked about the Grand Infinity. They both discussed, well, Coleman said there was thug in the Grand Infinity. Zachary, I told you the loyalty is a little bit different. He didn't want to say thug in the Grand Infinity. He talked about it was a meaning. But we both know that this Grand Infinity was rented. And I won't play the video for you, but there are the two clips. If you want to play later, you can play. And how was that corroborated? Mr. Sprinkle went down the Hearst rental car record in order to corroborate, is what Mr. Copeland said accurate? Was there a rented gray vehicle? Almost a year later, he finds the rental car. That is corroboration of what Kenneth Copeland said. He literally took everything that Kenneth Copeland said and said, can I corroborate this? And that's what he did. Now let's talk about who they both said. Now remember, Copeland is in June, Zachary is in August.
So, who was in the car? This was the driver out here. This was a legit boat story. He said, I think you said, I'm a huge child. And they both had the same letter, standing out there. They went somewhere and changed up. Nah, they know what it was. I thought saying he got the door outside, went home, I think more. And then, door, left, and was home and nothing, seen him. And went to the gas station, seen Jack, and he pumped. The gas station, we went to the gas station. We got the gas station. I just did the store, so. But this, this we called the gas station, store got in the code with her. Store got that to eat. They got to call it with her. And they were folded up in the car. Jack, Shannon, Noah, and Juma.
Right? That's Copeland in June. Here's that in August.
This is all what Shannon telling me. No, didn't vote. Shannon didn't vote, but this Shannon phone, Shannon voted first. So Shannon, they both on the same story. Where were you guys when Shannon telling you this and what day was it? Same day or day after? Same like Shannon, I walk and go, I just walk in and so I just pulled up and go out. And Shannon go her out. And I put him on like gun, like, he got some gun, he wants some gun. Right. I'm sorry, I'm hanging on. He wants some gun, go to the store. So I got put it. And Shannon started calling. Don't come straight up. He knows that. Right. He ain't gonna do nothing. Now, he knows that they have you, he knows that they do. So I need to talk to them. That's what I heard you. And then don't tell me story. Say they wanted to push it, but they both on the same look. Say they roll back around. And then, so you know. Show Jack, no, do what. So.
He said it was Jack, Nard, and Duwop. This is two different interviews. Copeland is telling them what the Nikai told him, and Zachary is telling the police what Stillwell and Yak told him. But how are we the same people? Yak, Nard, Duwop, Stillwell. That does not change. That's corroboration of each other. Two different interviews. Two different times. Saying the same people? Ladies and gentlemen, that's evidence. That ain't a coincidence. And remember what Copeland said, which I found interesting. When they asked, do you remember what gas station? He's like, I don't know what gas station. How would he know that Yak was at the gas station and that they circled the block and pulled up and saw Jonathan outside? If they didn't tell him that. He didn't even know what gas station they were at. But what did Mike Sprinkle do? He said, well, let me go pull the gas station footage and see if I can corroborate what he's saying. And that's exactly what he did. He pulled up the January 10th Texaco gas station and see when the car pulls into the gas station, the Bonneville. And in that same interview, they asked him, well, what kind of car was Yak in initially? He tells them it was a Bonneville. How would he know? He doesn't know that we're going to find a surveillance video. But they want you to believe him just lying? For what? You have Yak going inside the gas station. That's him in the gas station. They sit at Texaco from 6:44 to 7:15. They wait for the girlfriend to come, and when the girlfriend comes, that's about the same time that the Infinity pulls up. What you waiting for 30 minutes at the gas station for? Who waits at the gas station that long? You had to meet Bushi at that gas station? What did Rachel Hendricks tell you? YSL folks don't hang around out there. They get their gas and get on. If they even get gas over there, because that's not their territory. Their territory is Cleveland Avenue. So why are you sitting there for, I don't do that, but what was it, almost 40 minutes? But they want you to believe he's just lying. For what? Then that's when the Infinity pulls up. And on the video, Yak walks over to the car. Now, I know Mr. Shar said, well, my client ain't on the video. Well, we just can't see him on the video. I submit he in the car. Then they both leave at the same time, and they both turn right on North Side Drive. Now, this is the video. We'll speed it up. And in fact, from the still shots, you can see kind of the movement. And let me, I wish I can't pause it because it's running. You see where they came on? They came down and then. Well, what's right about here? It's a barbershop. I know Mr. Why don't you it's a block away? It ain't a block away. Literally, when you go out here, you look up the street, you see the barbershop. It's not a block away. It's yards away. So they had a vantage point to see them when he's driving down McDaniel Street. He's the one that alerts them. Kendrick. If Kendrick didn't tell them that he saw Donovan, maybe we wouldn't be here today on a murder charge. He did that. He's the one who
Why is
alerted
she
them.
screaming
That's why
at
he's just as guilty as
them?
the ones who shot.
Okay, listen, I'm all for theatrics when it comes to a closing argument, but you're screaming and pointing at the defendant. Like, I get you got to do it with emphasis, but you're screeching. This is like not cool, not okay. R.I.P. our ears. And thank you, Dub Rightside, for the
This is
membership.
when we sped through the video, so now it's about 9:05. That's Doo-Wop getting out. I submit to you, that's Doo-Wop getting out the car, smoking a cigarette. I submit probably trying to look see if he's still out, if the Donovan's still outside, so they see how much time they had before Donovan go inside to get his hair cut. That's when Willie Bougie pulls up in that car. And that's Kendrick. Initially, he was on the passenger side. And then that's the driver, as I submit to you all, that's Bradford. He gets out the car. Then you see Mr. Kendrick kind of waves to the infinity. Then he walks over to the infinity. I submit that's when they're going to talk about what they're going to do, how they're about to kill Diamond, what they're going to roll around, do what car, what guns in the car, how they're going to do it, who's going to do what. He now gets back in the driver's seat. And we talk about where did they switch cars. I submit to you, behind the gas station. They both made it right in the moment. I'm going to show you what's right behind the gas station where they could have easily switched cars. And remember, we talked about the time, so it's not 8:08. Remember, this time is off by a few moments. And that's them coming down the street in the infinity, shooting. Of course, you're going to see, I'm going to play this all this, the reaction, what happens in the store. You got babies running. Bullets have no names. And they have audacity to tell you that we're sitting here trying to charge people of color? No. You should not have you sit here on a Saturday trying to get your hair cut and have bullets come inside of a barbershop. Bullets have no names. And there's babies in the front. But you're just spraying down the street for what? For your status in YSL? So you can show Mr. Willis that you big and bad? That's what this is about. And that's Donovan's brother. Outside. I submit he saw what happened, but you know what? He ain't gonna tell us. He ain't gonna talk to the police. And that's what the gang culture is. So this is the Texaco. That's Northside Drive. And here are two streets. This one's a one-way street, but they don't follow the law, so I submit that they went up the one-way street. And it's another street. They didn't went up either. I submit they went up the one-way street because again, they don't follow the law. So when they turn the right, they switch cars behind here. They switch behind here. It takes no time to drive up the wrong way street, drive back down, and come back down to their street. That's where they switch the cars at. They both. I guess you can't show you. And this is where he talks about it. I'm not gonna play it for you, but that's what he said.
No.
And let me tell you something. This is how you know they switch cars. We told you he came in the Infinity with Divorce Bradford, right? This is Divorce Bradford phone records. After the murder, this is him between 6:36 and 7:19. You see the crime scene, he's stationary around the crime scene, right? There's a gap in time between 7:19 and 7:24. At 7:24, between 8:08, this is where Bradford's home is, right? From 7:31 all the way to 8:08. What's over here? Oak Drive. OG Bentley House. Where they say they got rid of the guns. Let me tell you what he's doing. He waiting for them to come back. And you want to know how we know that Gant isn't in the car with him anymore? This call right here.
Security. You may start the conversation now.
So, I live down, I have a sitting there like that. Nah, he what's the other guy? Nah, yeah. Y'all good? Yeah.
Hey, Goldie Mom.
What is it? What's up, shortstop?
What are you doing?
What's going on? Yeah. Yeah. Where you at? What up?
You hear what he said? Where that guy at? We waiting for him to pull up. That's at 7:42. That's when, let's go back, y'all. That's when he waiting down here. At 7:42, which is one of the calls that's right here, Yak ain't with him. You want to know why? Because Yak with the other 3 murderers. That's where Yak at. What evidence do we have? No, we don't have DNA. You want to know why? They got rid of the car. No, we don't have DNA. You want to know why? Because they got rid of the guns. All we have is what they told their co-conspirators. And that's what I have to bring to you. What I have are phone records. What I have are the surveillance videos to corroborate what the co-conspirators said. Because I don't have those things. I wish I had them. But they got
So you don't have hardcore evidence. You have hearsay evidence. You have information that was spoken to by people and shared to other people. Okay. All right. A little bit of a stretch for all this yelling.
got rid of it. That's Jack the night of. What'd he say? Maniac's back. That's what he said, right? Y'all know me in my Santana voice. You right. The maniac's back. He just drove the car that took somebody's life. For no reason. For no reason. That's just to show you, that's Divorce Bradford in that Pontiac. that's on that surveillance video. This is what they talk about the guns used to commit the murder.
So like nothing. Make sure everything right. You think he pretty much told you him, Shannon, Nard, Bentley. Now, they still and the girl who the one went to Bentley house. You did. And when they got them doing it, they spoke to the one house. But I think the girl was, you know, the girl is supposed to be seeing it. She knows what's going on. This girl said something. You know, they can't tell you about the club. This girl I thought told me I was go to her. So it was Yak driving, Shannon with the AK, Nard with the doo-wop with this. I'll take what I had this. Okay. All right. But you just know what seats. How you ever see the car, how you know the Yak drive. You got to do that. They did that with that's okay, so I'm meeting you, I told you. Yeah, let me. Okay.
We gonna lie? Why not say doo-wop had a gun? Let's lie. We gonna lie big. Everybody had a gun. But he didn't do that. He said, nah, I don't think doo-wop had a gun. I don't think so, but I definitely know Yak was driving, because if we're gonna lie, say Yak had a gun too. But he didn't do that.
They put you back there, there's 8 right? He said, you can tell me what kind of gun they had, right? So they can tell me who's on that. What? They're on a 4-5. Who's on the 4-5? Even with Rainbow, or 8 people, 6 people?
What are the shell casings? How do you know it was a 7.62? That's what Donald was killed with. Those are the bullets that came out of Mr. Thomas. The shell casings that was found, there were multiple types of shell casings, 45, 9, and 7.62s. How do they know that? This is called corroboration. This is called verification. They don't know they don't know what bullet was pulled out of Donovan Thomas's body at the autopsy. They don't know what shell casings the police picked up off the ground. But ironically, they know, it's not ironic, they know the type of gun that they use.
Y'all put up on plea, and the dealer right now, they got they talk about it. So they got guns. Yeah, they had 2 guns. Got shot in the handgun. They got guns to put in the cup. And they just pick them out the cup. So what did they do for you to take his name? Yeah, he was driving a white truck. He wanted to Chicago. I didn't say, you know, they called me after shoot. Yeah, they look where they want to leave. Bench slap was on plea. Right. You did. So I guess they were told straight bench slap. And when the was at bench slap, they put him on through, and we got benched by white cut down. And then he said, I don't know if it was bench. They had to come, if it went in, there was somebody that tell me, he got cut, he drove never cut. You know what I'm saying? And he cleaned up the cut guns. You know what kind of car it was, like, it was an Infinity, thing. Yeah. I knew it. You know, was it somebody's registered car, was it Rick Hill's rental? Well, that used to be the car from. Yeah.
And when he finished, he's at the airport.
I don't get this one. They offer now they took guns in the car, OG Benson. No Benson, capture. They gave him guns in the car. What did he do with it? He hit a gun and they going to run for that. You know what he hit the gun at? I don't know he hit the gun. They said it's not please. You know where it is? It's not. You don't know the address on Oakland. On Oakland? Yeah.
Y'all saw the address I showed y'all, right? It's on Oak Drive. That's Bentley's spot. And isn't it ironic that that's where the guns was kept in April when Dexter Montgomery, when they went and shot at Dexter Montgomery, they got all the guns from Bentley's spot. Bentley keep the guns. That's what happened here. When we talk about interrelatedness, this is the interrelatedness that we are talking about. The same location, you drop one gun off, you pick one gun up. That's what happened. That's what Walter Murphy, I'm not gonna play the clip, but that's what Walter Murphy told you back when he was interviewed in July about OG Bentley's spot. You think that that's ironic that both Copeland and Zachary talk about the guns going? Oh, and the phone records corroborate that all the phones was at Bentley house right after the murder? All of those things are corroboration. That's evidence.
I understand that the courtroom had an issue, so I'm going to skip through it. Their feed cut. We did see this last week as well with Law and Crimes feed. See that, how it says live? So it did cut out for a second. And we're going to skip ahead to when they come back.
That a couple things that they didn't talk about witnesses by name. They said about witness number 1 and witness number 2. This is what he says. Fuck D. Fuck them niggas, bruh. All that fake friend shit. Fuck nigga. He know what's going on. Pussy ass nigga. That's what he said. Fuck niggas are rats. He ain't say he lied on me. He said he a rat. I just went to court and they let everything out. That fuck nigga a rat, him, Woody, and the other little D. Bitch, you in love with a rat hoe. That's anger. Why? Because you just heard that your friends, because you didn't really know it was them, but it said witness 1 and witness 2, you were able to infer that your friends told the police about what you did the night of Donovan Thompson's murder. These are his words. He didn't say, yo, them dudes, I went to my prelim, they lied on me.
Oh, Lord.
He didn't say, oh man, I don't know where they got this information from. He said they are rat.
You know how I pointed out that they're using red to, show things to the jury? Look at this screen. Not obviously there's a lot of use of profanity here. Look at the third one. F ninja rat. Look at rat highlighted in red. She takes the word rat and highlights it in red. Remember that timeline I showed you guys? Notice that things got highlighted in red. They are wearing red. Red suits, red ties. Craziness. Let's keep going.
Rat. Because what do rats do? They tell. And he was angry that his voice would tell what he did. Let's talk about they song.
Y'all know I can't play it, so it's muted for a second. YouTube will ding ya. If she starts doing this shmoney dance, I will lose it.
Of this. Ladies and gentlemen, we told you that between 2016 and 2019, there were no courts involvement. For 2019 and 22, there was no indictment, nothing happening in the case. So in 2019, which is 4 years after the murder, he knows that Sledge has been dismissed, Copeland has been dismissed, and Garlington has been dismissed. His case is the only one that ain't been dismissed. In 4 years, you haven't heard about an indictment. You think you beat a murder rat. This isn't, oh, he was on this and that. He thought he beat a murder rat because you're not indicted until almost 7 years later. So you think you got away with it. I keep a stick, ain't avoiding no smoke, a chopper. I just beat a murder rat, pay my lawyer $30 for that. Me and my slimes are above the law. I know it's mumbling, but he said, we don't work in court at all. And I wipe your nose, send your family's face, and just smile it off. Some of these things he repeats in multiple songs. What's this song?
Another song. Muting it. Let's see if I can skip it for us. Okay.
Maybe 2020, sometime between 2020 and 2022, right? At this point, they real brazen because they don't think they're going to get held accountable for the murder. So they start saying stuff in their songs like, I just beat a homicide. Ha, 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 walk it off. I just left that boy on the curb. Well, where was Donovan Thomas found, dog? On the curb. I'm a big lizard, big slime, big shots, riding down your block, hanging out the top. Oh, shoot, didn't Reginald Hendricks say that somebody was shooting out of the top of the infinity? See, now you start bragging on it because you think you beat it. So now you, like our experts told you, they start bragging about it. What we call it dry snitching. You telling on yourself. Because you don't think that the police are going to find your phone. That's why you threw it. But luckily for Viverito, she listened to some jail calls and found that phone. Because you didn't think we were going to find it. This is called confession. This ain't rap, this is a confession. Over a beat.
Wow. Muting it again, guys. This is lyrics as evidence at its finest.
I'm on go, I'm on green. I see an eye, I'm taking him down. Walking down from a mile. The last homicide, I smiled. How many times you gonna keep talking about the fact that you killed this man? And you bragging about it? This is song number 3. And then I can send the whole gang to the heavenly house? You good with killing folk. That's why you didn't kill Donovan, you didn't kill Shamel.
You good with killing folk. Oh,
let that bitch rain out the top of the drop. Here we go again. Lizard walk your block, let that glizzy rock.
Listen to that part.
Let that... I ain't gonna play the song, let's talk about the words. Dodging all your shots and I'm watching my eyes. Let that bitch rain out the top of the drop. Here we go again. Lizard walk your block, let that glizzy rock. Oh, glizzy, ain't got a Glock. Dang, one Chanel killed with Glock. One there Glock on that table? Well, what investigator revealed said it looked like a Glock. And I found it interesting because we're gonna get to Chanel soon. We about to get to Chanel.
I love your username,
He said that Shannon wasn't linked to the force, but he linked to having guns thrown away. That's what he did in 2015. He's linked to the gun that was probably in the house an hour before he killed Chanel, sitting on the table in front of him.
This is why they had her do the closing.
We ain't gonna play this one either. Let's talk about what he's saying this. I see Ox fall. Shell, know my call. That Shell kill y'all. Every time I play nasty. That's what he says in the song. They wonder how we lasted. Bout my gang, it will never end. Again, beat the hum. What do you think, y'all? No evidence. He don't realize that what his two co-conspirators said is evidence. Those interviews are evidence. His confession over a beat is evidence. This is evidence, ladies and gentlemen. And this is evidence you can take to the bank, deliberate, and find him guilty.
Oh,
The surveillance
Lord.
video is
Look
evidence.
at love.
No, we don't have his phone records, but you got his two friends telling y'all what he did. And they don't have no reason to lie on him. For what?
More music. Muting.
Donovan Thomas was the big homie. There was no need for that ad lib at the end of the song. But again, in 2020, they brazen. They have the audacity to think that they can just brag about killing somebody and no one's going to hold them accountable. That's what they're doing in 2020.
They shouldn't be playing this song. This is the Tahoe and a Taco. Sletty.
Everyone knew that Donovan drove a Tahoe. And how ironic is it that he got rounds of bullets in his Tahoe and on the street? So they want you to believe, oh, that's a creative line Mr. Williams did. No, it's not. It's him bragging. It's him bragging. It's him wanting to claim responsibility for it. And we talked about judging, like I say, subliminal messaging. But the subliminal is you, as a consumer, don't know what he's talking about. But his family, who know that Donovan drove a Tahoe, know exactly what he's talking about.
I had
Everyone
tacos
in the
for
gang
lunch
knows exactly
today.
what they're talking about, because that's who he's talking to. But because the masses bop to the song, they say, well, no, that's just his artistry. No, that's just his confession, his bragging over.
They played this a few weeks ago when Thug was still in the courtroom. What's the next one? Is it Bad Boy? I love that song. Shout out to Full Drink and Half Thinking with the 10 memberships. Making it rain in the chat.
Trying to kill the biggest kitten of all kitties. What do you got crawling up on him? A snake. They signed. That is a subliminal message to everyone else. Yeah, we did that. What's at the end? He got a rat going down his mouth because they eat rats. They eat the people who snitch on them. He already told you himself, you ought to get killed from me and YSL if you snitch. See, that video is not just, oh, a nice artistic video. That has symbolism in it. So now they're guilty of all those. Let's talk about Chanel. Young man, probably started associating with people from YFN. But on the day that he was about to get killed, he's about to go back to his girlfriend's house and go eat some spaghetti. That's what he's doing at the light. Get ready to go back. You see him go inside the gas station. He's not worried about a thing. He doesn't know that seconds later he's going to lose his life. So the timeline here, this is, and I'll tell you here, this is a direct result of retaliation from the stabbing of Lucci. So what do we have? February 9th, Rayshawn Bennett gets stabbed in the Fulton County Jail by Jada Myrick. February 22nd, Eppinger calls Antonio Sumlin to see if he could get paid for finishing what Myrick didn't do. Then you heard about that emergency bond paperwork that was filled out on March 3rd. Then sometime around early March, the media hears about the YFN Lucci stabbing. It gets picked up on media. On March 11th,
Another
at
red
3 a.m.,
box.
two YSL associates, Christian McMillan and Darius Ford, are murdered on I-75 and I-85. That same night, there's a shooting at 12 Atlanta where a YFN associate gets shot in the head. On March 12th, there's a shootout on Cleveland Avenue with Demikion Garlington and the Ops. On March 12th, there's a 911 call shooting at 2830 Waters Road. March 14th, Shayna Stillwell rents the Audi A5 and puts dark tints on all the windows. March 14th, 10 o'clock is the murder of Chanel Drinks. On March 16th, there's a shooting at Waters Road where the investigator Rico comes out. March 17th, there's a search of Waters Road where everything is taken out except for a few guns that they left behind. And then Stillwell and Nichols are arrested. Again, we talk about the state does not have to prove motive, but here, ladies and gentlemen, this is motive. Again, that's that same video with Quindarius, y'all. Christian McMillan's been around since 2009. This is Mr. Williams' long friend, old friend, good friend. And he gets murdered by YFN associates. oh, you got to pay for that. Here we have just different pictures of them, both Mr. Ford and Mr. McMillan, all with other YSL associates. You'll have these in evidence, ladies and gentlemen. That's unfortunately the car that they were driving in when they were tragically gunned down on March 11th. So here's where the motive comes in, y'all. Just like YSL brags about doing stuff, YFN does the same thing. It's tragic. These posts were despicable. That post crossing out that young girl's daddy and saying that, despicable. But that's the type of stuff that gangs do, right? To keep nudging each other. Well, that would make you mad. You see how heartbroken YSL was for the death of Mr. McMillan and Mr. Ford. They were devastated. These are all different YSL members posting them because they were devastated. And that's where revenge kicks in. That is Mr. Stillwell's post. I ain't gonna be the only one crying. Nope, you're right. The Drinks family crying. Because he had to make sure. And what does he say here? Just ref Mac, I got you, man. Crying emoji, broken heart, taped up heart, devil emoji. He was ready to go out hunting. I know that was in January, but that just goes to show you he already knew how to be on the prowl. He already knew how to go out hunting. And this is what Demekion say on the wiretap on about March 11th and March 12th. March 12th.
I ain't talking about the AP. Oh, AP. Yeah, no, he don't know. Yeah.
You know what he on. He on looking for them folks who killed our boys. That's what he on.
Yo. Stick it up. And like that, we went to look like something. They said we went to look for them. Okay. I said, no, yeah, I know. Well, I need that. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Shit, sorry, what shit? Saturday. Sorry, shit. I said, what is it? Sometimes you'll come pick me up. Shit, that was on. Yeah. Yeah. Next time, being here on Rob, I said, Rob, let me know coming. Yeah. I tried that shit yesterday, but you know, that. Yeah. Yeah.
Same shit. We all the proud. We looking. We went because we need to go find them folks who killed our boys. So we out hunting. Let's go rent this car. Now, you know, this notion that they rented the car because Taisha got into the gunfight. Well, she got into the gunfight on March 9th. So she got into the gunfight on March 9th. Why y'all just rent the car on March 9th? They rent the car on March 14th. Oh, here we go. And what do? Immediately go to the tent place to go get the rental car tinted. Well, why do you do that when you're out hunting? Because the ops don't know what kind of car you in. So you can disguise yourself in this Audi because they don't know you in it. So they're not suspecting you. That's not the car that they're used to. So when you go out hunting, you got to switch the car out because they're not expecting to find you in the car. And then you get tints, but not just regular tints, y'all, like dark black tints. Like you can't see nothing. Some may say those are not the tints you're ever allowed to have on your car. Why? Because you out hunting. What do we know about Shell Kell and Demekion Grant on social media? What does investigative Rito tell you? That because she was following both pages, she could see who followed who, and Demekion followed Kelvin Wise. So what post do we see? This post was posted, I believe, on March 13th. And it's a picture of Mr. Drinks, Jasper Walters, and Kelvin Wise. And Shell Kell reposted it with the two shells, the zipper lip, and the black heart. And I guess for Mr. Stillwell and Mr. Garner, there must be a confession. Because this is the post that got Mr. Drinks killed. Because remember, no one knew who Mr. Drinks was. The investigators didn't know. When you listen to some of the wiretaps y'all listened to, they didn't know. So this post is a post that gets him killed. Not any verification, not that you should have been killing anybody anyway, but no verification whether or not they actually did or anything. But because Shell Kell posted two shells, a zip lip, and a black heart, that was Mrs. Drinks' death sentence. Op hunted. The reason why we took this picture, y'all, is if you remember from the video, and we're going to look at the video in a moment, Shannon was parked about right here in the alley. And we know that because you see him when he comes in. If you watch the videos, you see when he comes in. Remember that Mr. Drinks pulled up to this pump. No, this pump. They had the best vantage point to see when Mr. Drinks came in, when he walked into the store, when he walked back out the store, and when he pulled off. They were scoping it out. Verifying. I submit they in the car. Is that him? Oh, yo, I think he do got the same sneakers on. I think that's him, y'all. Scoping it out. Sit back, watching it. Let's watch the video. Now this is where Mr. Stillwell, they get to the gas station. Now you see when Mr. Cormavius Nichols gets to the gas station. That's when Miles gets out the car.
Yeah, you guys are saying it. We've watched this footage like a million times. We've analyzed it from every angle. Look at me missing a few of these. Shout out to Pamela, who became a member, or has been a member for a month. Thank you, Pam. It's good to see you again. She gifted 10 memberships. Have you seen this video before, Pam?
That's when Shannon walks in the car first, and we know it's Shannon because of the March 16th. They're wearing the same clothing.
We've seen it a million times, and here it is in closing. Shout out to Trainwreck Entertainment. Lucy with the 50. She says, there you are. Hope you're feeling better. Yes, traveled to Atlanta today. Delayed flight. Have you seen this video before, Lucy? We've seen it a million times.
Of course, that's Cormavius Nichols when he walks inside the store.
It's labeled op hunting for the jury. Do you guys think this
And then that's
is
when Miles
op
walks into the
hunting?
store. In his Slama dye shirt.
In his slime or die shirt. I just picked up on that.
Miles and Cormavius leave out the store, and Miles, in a moment, gets back into the car, and Cormavius is pumping the gas. Cormavius goes back into the store. And this Mr. Drinks pulling into the gas station. Now, this is how ironic that Cormavius and Drinks never, you're going to see, they never see each other. Because Cormavius gets into the car, and Mr. Drinks sits in the car for a little while. Now, it would appear that all their business is done at the gas station. But they don't leave. It is 21:56. Now Mr. Drinks is finally getting out the car. See where he's walking? He's walking closest to where Drinks and Demekion are in the car. Because remember, from here, y'all, you see the Audi lights. The Audi's here. He just walked right here. In the same sneakers from the picture. And coat and jacket.
Real quick, guys, don't want to pause it, and we're almost through with this diabolical, the red suit on and all of it. This diabolical closing argument from Simone Hilton, finishing it off for the state, and she's going through all the alleged evidence that they have. Real quick, I wanted to pause the show to really shout out Trainwreck Entertainment. Shout out to Lucy, husband and wife team. They have great content. Go check them out, guys. I think that they just crossed over 30,000 subscribers. They're doing great work over there. They cover a lot of these everyday legal cases where sometimes you may not hear about them. But Lucy just sent me $100 PayPal. Lucy, thank you so much. You know you mean a lot to me. She is now, you guys, a stream sponsor. So if y'all could type Trainwreck in the chat, that would be fantastic. I know she is down here in Georgia. So I will be hitting her up. It would be great to say hello in person and thank you in person. But huge shout out to Trainwreck because they do cover the everyday cases that are not as mainstream or in popular media. And some of you guys like watching that type of content. So please check them out if you haven't already. And thank you again to your stream sponsor, Lucy. Type Lucy and Trainwreck Entertainment in the chat.
They're still sitting there. None of them come back into the store. And Mr. Drinks walks out. And he walks back to his car. Now it's 21:58. Neither car, they're not pumping gas. They're not getting anything. They're watching Mr. Drinks. I submit confirming that that's a person in that social media post. Now Shemaiah's finally gotten into the car. And I submit this is what's happening.
Hey, what is up?
He wanted him to call on video real quick. Call him on FaceTime real quick. You know what happens on FaceTime. You've heard testimony about what happens on FaceTime. What happens on FaceTime is that is when criminal activity is planned because they think that FaceTime, you cannot track it. Now watch as Mr. Drinks pulls out of the gas station. They have been sitting there for minutes, y'all. Y'all been watching this video like, what we gonna do next? That's how long we've been sitting here. And as soon as Mr. Drinks pulls out, that is when vehicle number one pulls out, hunting car. And then that's when the second car immediately pulls out. They sat there, y'all. We were quiet for at least 2 minutes here when they did nothing. And they want to tell you that some other car killed him? That's them driving by the liquor store. They laid in wait until Mr. Drinks pulled out. You have to look at all the evidence together, not just the FedEx video, but we're going to talk about that FedEx video. This is them pulling up to the light. You see there's somebody walking on the street, walking this way, towards the gas station. Here go the 3 cars pulling up at the light. Ladies and gentlemen, you can't see it here, but we know that there's a red light. Shannon and Nichols are stopped at the red light. They stop. Drake is in the left turn lane. Shannon is right next to him, and Cormaine is right next to Shannon. Y'all now see the traffic going in the opposite direction that they are in. Then you see Nichols pull up. I'm just going to submit that this car stops here. This car, I think, saw what happened. Because he stops a little behind it, like, whoa. You had the person walking down the street. Mr. Sharp, and we're going to talk about this car in a moment. Mr. Sharp talked about what the medical examiner said. What she said was there will be no conscious movement. She didn't say anything about unconscious movement. Because that is what you see with the brake lights, y'all. No, he could not consciously say, let me go. But the unconscious movement, because he doesn't shot in his head, is what is happening. They, y'all gotta think about this, because this is what they didn't want to show you. Shannon went from 18 miles per hour to 90 miles per hour. See, Mr. Shaw didn't want to talk to you about that. He want to tell you about a car that turned around because he heard the gunshot. But the man or woman walking down the street didn't hear the gunshot. That person walking, just chilling.
Okay.
You think if the people in the car heard the gunshot and turned around?
Okay. All right, Simone. All right. Now we're strolling. Now it's not even a crip walk. Now we just blood strolling. All right. I need a break from that. Again, huge shout out to Polish Lucy and Trainwreck Entertainment. She also added another 10 memberships. So if you got one in the moment, I hope you said thank you to her. We're a generous community over here. So thank you so much, Lucy, for helping grow it. Shout out to Pamela with the 20. Also, after she gifted 10 memberships, Pamela says, hello, beautiful. Will you be listening to the full closing? I can't do it again. Yeah, I'm not going to subject you guys to that. When I saw that they were still going at 8 p.m. and the poor jurors were there, I was just like, okay, I can't do that to my people. So I'm going to give you guys the quick and dirty version tomorrow morning, probably around 9 o'clock before court starts. And I actually have been taking notes all day and put together some slides about some of the key points in the argument. So it's going to be pretty cool. And hopefully y'all can join me tomorrow at regular scheduled time for those that are like, Avi, it's too late. You're still doing this. Shout out to Mixed Chick Sammy, one of my favorites. She is amazing. She is like the best ever. She holds me accountable with things and is always helping me here and there. And honestly, like, doing some of this work without some of you guys is like damn near impossible. So huge shout out to Mixed Chick Sammy, who is also investing in our community and growing it by gifting you guys 10 memberships. If you got one from Sam, please say thank you to her. And of course, we got the OG Dub right side with 10 as well. He's gifting 10 memberships. And if you got one from Dub, please say thank you. So look at that. In the last 10 minutes, we have seen memberships gifted from Trainwreck, memberships gifted from Mixed Chick Sammy, and memberships gifted from Dove. Thank you guys so much. All right, let's get back to this blood stroll and see what, oh my God, I needed a break from that. So let's keep reading, or let's keep listening.
Don't you think that the person walking down the street was like, hold up.
Oh God.
It's a gunshot down there. No. Could it be that maybe a car that turned around saw the liquor store and said, shoot, I'm gonna give me a drink, it's Saturday. Could it be they left something at the gas station? He wants you to believe the only reason why they turned around is they heard gunshots. That doesn't make sense when someone is walking down the street. It don't make sense. Then let's talk about the car that was closest to them. You see what time the cars are going? Here are the 3 cars in a straight line. Do you see that straight line? It's a straight line. The 3 cars. Shannon's car is directly next to Mr. Drake's car. And that's going to be important when I show you these crime scene photos. This other car that he wants to talk about, that he's, oh, this is the one who killed, this is the person who shot. Oh, and we couldn't get LPR. What? Where was I going to get LPR from? You can't see no license plate. I don't even know what type of car it is. That car is never directly next to Mr. Drake. It is always behind. I submit they saw what happened. And when they inched up, they looked over, was like, oh, let me get up out of Dodge. As most other cars did, except for Mr. Cheeseborough. Mr. Cheeseborough's call did not come in until 10:27, because every other car did what that car did. They drove by it. That car actually waited at the red light, versus Mr. Stilwell almost hitting traffic. So this notion that he stopped at the red light, if you didn't just shoot and kill somebody, why are you fleeing through traffic to get on the highway at 90 miles an hour? Use your common sense. many of y'all, if y'all choose to talk to us at the end and you care what's the judge, list all the admonitions, some of you may ask, how I get chosen? And we're gonna say, because you got common sense. Your common sense will tell you that when you go from 18 miles per hour to 90 miles per hour, when you see the person who you think killed your best friend, that you shot and killed him. That's just your common sense. Not some random car that pulls up behind and unfortunately may have witnessed a shooting and they don't want to be involved. Let's look at the car. The crime scene pictures take pictures for a reason. Here go the bullet holes. 1, 2, 3. See, Mr. Sharp didn't show you that. Because if you see the crime scene photos will show you that the bullet went through the door where Mr. Stillwell's car was. And we'll talk about the gunshot residue. Wouldn't make sense. There's no muzzle flash anywhere on the video. So this is nonsense. You don't see no muzzle flash. Mr. Trick's dead, though. So we know a gun was fired. Let's take his theory. You don't see the muzzle flash when the other car pulls up, do you? You don't. That theory makes no sense. You have to take all the evidence. Not just FedEx, but everything that occurred. Like I told you, he went from literally, y'all, 18 miles all the way to 90. To 90. This is the intersection. This is 1 minute later. What you fleeing for 90 miles per hour if you ain't killed nobody? You was just chilling. And then you go to the studio and do what you do. You brag. Because remember, they all went to the studio. And what he said? Pop my shit. I really got options. Poor little ops. Look how they just drop it. Poor little ops. Look how they just drop it. Those are his words. After he just executed a man at a light. He goes to the studio to go rap about it. This is why they think they above the law. This is what the media say afterwards. Now I know, I don't know if y'all remember when them two got to it, Mr. Rizzo was like, he said city, he said city. No, he said, I'm coming back, we just coming back through, riding trying to see. This is at early morning hours on March 15th. Why are you coming back through the crime scene if you ain't did nothing? Why? This Mechanicsville, y'all. They went to Fulton Industrial. This is coming back in the city, trying to see. They came back through. Why? Because they want to see. Are the police still out there? What they doing? They canvassing? Any of the homeless people see what happened? Let me try and see what's going on. And then what did Mickey say afterwards? This on March 15th, y'all. We got y'all, boys. You right? They thought that they got him because they killed Mr. Drake, who they thought murdered Christian and Darius. This is we got y'all, boys. Here's a direct response to the shooting. Remember, this on March 16th. YFM folks, and we know it's YFM, and we believe it's YFM because remember these shell cases, massive shell cases of the Darius Ford, Christian McMillan shooting.
It's like going on yesterday, and it's crazy. That's what I had. They got 3 4 hours. For real? Hold on. Yeah, man, they shut up the ditch back. I was in there. You think? Oh, they shut up the ditch back, bro? Yeah, man. So we got now. Think they're gonna come back. Think they're gonna come back. They do. So they're going up. Yeah, I'm gonna come to the wind. You know, I was in the living room with crazy, but nobody eat. And you don't know what did, what y'all don't eat. Yeah.
What'd he say? They shot a big Nick spot because their boy got killed in Mechanicsville. Again, the streets know before we know. But how did we find out? Because their house got shot up. And I don't know why they wear the same clothes. I have no idea. I don't know why they didn't want to change their clothes, but they decided they want to be in their same clothes for 2 days. I don't know. But they did. And that's how they found out. Remember what Investigator Hogan said, Investigator Flores, they didn't know really what happened on the night of. All he knew is he had some suspects on the surveillance video, and that's it. And just lo and behold, Verito just at APD doing what she normally does, just say, hey, do you need help? And he's like, let me show you this surveillance video, this is all I got. And she's like, oh, snap. That's Shannon, I just saw him earlier today. Oh, and that's the car? He literally just told me that that's his car. And they were like, well, why would he do that? Why? I mean, if he just killed somebody in there, because they think they're above the law. So they go, and they don't know at the time what the police know. So he tells them. So let's talk about consciousness of guilt. So these are text messages on the 15th, and he is telling Poker, we need to get this hotel room. We need to get out of Dodge. We need to lay low. He tells her, don't tell anyone any information. Why you gotta do all that if you ain't killed nobody? Because of what happened on the 9th? Well, why was it so urgent on the 15th? Not when she had to shoot the people on the 9th. You gotta ask yourself the question. This became real important the day after he killed Chanel. This didn't become important after she done almost got robbed. What else you have? You're searching for the crimes? They want to say, well, that's because his grandmama told him and his girlfriend told. Well, they told him on March 14th about the shooting. He not Googling on March 14th.
Oh
He
my
Googling on the
God.
17th. Oh, what had
Who said this is crazy baby mama energy? Y'all are bugging. Like, she is wilding out right now. This is very, very, like, she's screaming. My ears. This is hard to listen to, but let's keep going.
What happened? Viverito. Remember what they said in jail call? Shit, Miss V know everything. Right? They like Miss V know everything. So that's why they start Googling, well, what Miss V know? What they got? This is the same way he started Googling on the 12th, on the 12 Atlanta shooting. What the folks got about that shooting over at 12 Atlanta? You know Steven did that. What they know? That's why you Googling.
Ooh.
Consciousness of guilt. You done fled.
Mimi, that's actually a really good point. I didn't even realize that because you guys, a lot of y'all had been watching this throughout the day. And on Law and Crime Stream, it shows that it went for 11 hours. So that means these people had breakfast probably at their homes, lunch, if anything. And if Simone was yelling like this in front of you, like if she was yelling at us, court of public opinion, we, you know, and we're tired and hungry and you only paying me $25 a day. Stop hollering at me. I wish I had my soundboard, but I'm traveling, y'all. Why are you hollering at me? And if I'm hungry,
Your good Chick-fil-A sandwich.
I would want a Chick-fil-A
They
sandwich.
start hearing them helicopters going. You like, hold on. It's the 17th. I've been Googling. I ain't heard a whole lot. Now I got helicopters? Let me get up out of here. The police sirens going, helicopters going, and they go fleeing. That's consciousness of guilt. You deleting content on the phone? You got Grandma Betty helping you out deleting the content on your phone? What? Oh, because you don't want us to find that music you done put on there. You don't want us to find that those contents, those lyrics you've been writing. You don't want us to see the text message that you out hunting. You got your, I don't know if it's a little brother, little cousin, I'm not gonna play the call for you, but that's that call where Grandma Betty's like, you better hurry up and get home. You know what you gotta do. Them folks got the phone. Why are we deleting the stuff? And it's not because of Poker, because they didn't delete it until Viverito got the phone. He didn't want Poker to have the phone. We started deleting it when the police got the phone. That's consciousness of guilt, ladies and gentlemen. And then let's talk about the call that Mr. Sharp played, because he ain't played the whole call. So we're gonna play another portion of the call.
What's up, man? Man, shit, right here, huh? I said, right here, do your way. They got going, right? Yeah, you know, police on the other one, shit, I'm going to hold them. So, yeah, are you, oh, this is the other one? This, yeah, bro. I know, I said, that's right. I read first one, so I said, like, yeah. I can, man, I'm going to trip with them, yeah, I said, what shit? I said, shit, I'm going to go straight to the one. I had to stand in one. Yeah. But, there's something that I'm just there. Yeah. Right, like, I was on the other. No, I was free. You free? Yeah. Oh, yeah, so, yeah. They go for it. Damn, somebody said, T-Rock, what are you doing? Yeah, T-Rock, was downstairs. Yeah, come here, brother, I know it, but T-Rock, I ain't know T-Rock. Yeah. What's up, talk, man? Hey, talk crazy. What is that? Shit, talk crazy, man. Nah, I don't know shit. You got crazy right now? Nah, I was about me, talking about shit. But I don't think I heard that. Yeah, it's about what she had told, bro. Yeah. Had me blow. They blow? Had me blow. Oh, yeah, I ain't talking about it. I'm talking about what you did now. Yeah, you asked me what's going on. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Nah, what the hell? Like, damn, bro. Everybody's school. Yeah, I know that. They just got them, they don't matter. Yeah. So I don't know what the fuck you got from. Yeah, they don't say, like, I'm like, I'm like, they got one for like, they do it, like, they want to do shit like that anyway. They don't do like, oh, like, I don't give them give them. Like you said that now. Look, when she said something like that, shit, like, I know. Yeah, I'm like, it's nothing, bro. Like, they just doing that because they say that they got it's like that shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah, man. I think so now, I ain't know this, bro. They're like, I'm doing all the cat business, but no. Not one word. Yeah. Now, the way they try to portray it, what they say, man, don't say shit. Yeah. I ain't know that like that, too. I told her like, tell them I need 1,000, but anything in between, just got down. Yeah.
I know, like, but I know one conversation, like, she told me, like, he paid, because she got that about she be in.
What?
Yeah. She like, and they said, like, and no, I mean, when we put like that, like, they tell me to pay, you'll pay, you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they tell me to pay, work out.
No, that's why I just, like, I know, like, how they go, you know what I'm saying? I ain't tripping on that, I ain't tripping. I was just trying to keep doing it for them, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, do that, okay, yeah,
I don't really like that culture and shit, that shit have me all out, like.
yeah. But then, I think that was good, I'm like, what the hell, man, going farmers.
Who?
So they gonna going farmers.
Okay.
Yeah. You really have to be built out of the morning. I remember what it is myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember myself. You saw the way things turn head.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would have had seen Corona, no better on the page shit. So I don't know who told how to get a check. Like, bro, I ain't lying. I said, you running down to some head, man.
Huh?
I think I take my head to some head. I ain't know what's going on. I'm like, yeah, bro. Know what's going on. Like, before I was like, out of the church.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, they know. I'm like, know what's going on. Like, yeah, bro, ain't no problem. You go with everybody. I'm like, that's bro. You know how this shit is, bro. Trying to see, but like, I'm like, everybody. I'm like, shit, that ain't going on before. I'm like, y'all, I ain't gonna give you. I ain't going right now. I don't want to go out. Yeah. Yeah, that's how they get that like, I don't know. It's so.
I can't understand any of this.
No, they don't, man. So that's just, that's police shit.
Yeah, man.
When you got down, all you like, pen pals for ring, all this shit up.
Yeah.
Don't come back clean, you know what I'm saying? So I ain't tripping on that.
So there's a few things that happened in this call. So let's talk about the first part of the call. The first part of the call, they're talking about Miles Farley. And if y'all remember, y'all heard the jail calls when they were trying to get protection for Miles Farley. Well, this call is on April 1st, early in the morning before Miles is arrested. And what you hear them talking about in the call is, one, I don't know why Miles got out the car. That's the only thing they really got on him because they saw him on the surveillance video. And more importantly, saying, tell Miles don't talk to the police. Tell Miles don't talk to them folk. Because see, Miles ain't never been in jail. So they think if Miles starts talking to the police, he the weakest link. So they're like encouraging Miles, don't say nothing to him. So that's what the two people in the shooting car are trying to make sure that they are protected by making sure Miles don't talk. So that's the first part of the call. Then you hear them talking about Dolly Wright. Well, we all know Dolly, Doug's sister. And they're talking about getting payment for a lawyer. And then before that, or right after that, they're talking about Blizzy seeing the Mikion at the hotel in Cobb County. Remember, Blizzy is the ops, Carlos Barber. And so now the Mikion is updating Shannon about what's happening. Because remember, Shannon's been in custody now since March 17th. What's also important is that they're on this contraband phone. So remember, early in the call, they're like, Shannon, I couldn't be on the other phone because they got my phone. So now I'm using somebody else's in jail contraband phone so that we can talk. So on this contraband phone, where they don't think anyone can hear them because they don't know it's a wiretap, they're like, hold on, Miles is tripping. Tell him don't talk to the police. He said the other boy tripping too. I submit he's talking about Carmavius Nichols. He's like, I'm just trying to keep Buddy calm. Because remember, at this time, only 2 people are locked up. Shannon and Cormarvius. Miles is not locked up, and we have not confirmed that DeMarco Boyer is a part of this. So he's trying to keep Quay down, trying to keep Miles from snitching, and that's what they're talking about. Then towards the end of the call, and I know Mr. Sharp tried to flip this, but he says, if they get my car, it's going to be clean, because ain't going to be no GSR in it. Who says that? And let's see, did he go get the car clean? He did. These circles, and y'all gonna have these pictures in the back, are watermarks. You see, they ain't do a good job cleaning it, but it's watermarks dripping. On the dashboard, over here, because he got the car clean. See, he thought, maybe in his mind, that the gunshot residue might be on the dashboard. It might be over here. Because he shot that gun out the window. He didn't shoot the gun in the car. Go look back at the trajectory, and he couldn't have shot in the car. He had to shoot out the car, because the bullet had to go through the car, through the window, into Chanel's dress. I submit he's not inside the car like, ping, ping. That's not what he's doing. He he gonna put his hand out the car and he gonna shoot. So when he talking about they gonna wipe the car, it's gonna be clean, because that's what he think the gunshot residue gonna be.
Love. You point the gun at
And
Miss
what did
Love.
Mr. Colvin tell you? He said, I dabbed, I took 2 dabs, I think he said he took about 8 or 16 dabs, but I didn't dab the entire headliner. He said there could be portions that had it, that's just not what I tested. You saw how big the headliner was, we pulled it out the bag for you. Is it possible, reasonable, that could have been on another piece of the headliner? Yes. Or is it reasonable that all of the gunshot residue went out the car? Because remember what he said, it's gonna be a poof, but it's gonna go in the direction of the bullet. You might have some blowback, but not a whole lot unless the shooting happened in the car. The shooting didn't happen in the car. Therefore, it's not gonna be a whole bunch of gunshot residue inside of the car. Remember, we asked him if there's gonna be a distinction between the two. He said there's gonna be way more gunshot residue if, say, the Mickey on someone in the car fired. But if the gun is outside the car window, it's gonna blow back a little, not a lot. It's gonna go towards the direction of the gun, or of the bullet. But that would be towards the direction of Mr. Drinks.
You would still have it.
So any gunshot residue, he thought he wiped down. That's why he says that on a contraband call to his co-conspirator, who they both killed, Chanel. Don't worry about it, bro. If nothing else, when they got the car, don't worry about that gunshot residue. We cleaned that. That's why he wanted to extend the car rental. He extended the car rental on March 15th. He had to. He couldn't take the car back. By this time, I gotta get that thing cleaned down. We gotta do something with it. He probably gonna try to get rid of it. But we called him on the 17th. He ain't have enough time. Now, I'm almost done, y'all. But I found it ironic how the first murder and the last murder in this indictment, how eerily similar they are. How ironic is it they both named Nut? They both happened near gas stations. They both using rental cars, one by Jeffrey Williams, one by Shannon. They both have multiple YSL defendants. They both travel after the murder. He talks about going, they flee to Miami. He talks about poker. He talks to Poker about going to Miami. They go into the studio, writing lyrics about it. They're both, Chanel and Donovan are affiliated, associated with YFN. But they want you to believe this is just 2 totally unrelated cases. Oh, and Shannon is supposed to be the shooter in both of them? The one who's always on go? He said it himself, but Quindarius said it too. The one who wants to do the murder because he wants status in the game? But they want to tell you, don't believe any evidence that the state brought. Don't believe any of it. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask you not to do that. You know, Mr. Drinks, young man maybe trying to find his way, maybe getting caught up in the wrong crowd. But on that day, he should have been able to go to his girlfriend's house. He should have been able to maybe decide that these aren't the friends he want to be with. But no, this is what they did to him. Left him at the light like this. And for what? Off a social media post? This is trash that they're doing in our community. Same thing with Donovan. Donovan was trying.
No, they did not just put his death photo up there in front of the jury. Oh my God! Why are the state's acting like thugs with this closing?
To turn his life around. Donovan was trying to get into the music business. Donovan was trying to leave that gang stuff alone. He up here drinking his glass of wine when you see the picture. But what did they do? Off of what?
Gonna do it again.
Because Donovan was at the barbershop joking, laughing outside. You see the surveillance video? And left him like this.
Did it again.
All in the name of YSL. All in the name of the game that they want to tell you is a music group.
This
It's
how
music.
she gonna
This ain't
land
music. This is not a song right here. Y'all. This is real life. Real dead bodies. Real dead people. Real shootings. This ain't no song over a beat. And they know when they brought him to it, with his slap tattoo, his Omerta tattoo, what they were doing. Ladies and gentlemen, they are guilty of every single count that they are both charged with.
All of it's red.
Mr. Atkins told you what this was about.
Do you guys see? Okay, I'm happy that I did wait a little bit to show this to y'all and go through it with you. Do y'all remember how I was pointing out that they were in the PowerPoint presentation highlighting things red for the jury to remember? They're wearing the color red. This is color theory, right? Let's highlight the red thing so y'all can remember it. You've been here for 166 days. Let's highlight all of it. Let me show you the page at the end that they're guilty of all of it. All of those counts, we're going to put them all in red, Jerry, so you can remember. That is funny. Funny, funny, funny.
Destruction of people. Destruction of the community that they live in. Deception. They want to deceive you by telling you that these people in here are just lying just a lie. They're trying to deceive you to tell you that this is all about rap music, rap business. It is not. This is about death. How many dead bodies at the hands of YSL? How many people shot at the hands of YSL? They are a gang by every definition of the word.
She's been waiting to
And
say
you want to
that.
talk about we're here just trying to get people of color? No, I'm trying to get gang members to stop committing violent acts in this community, in Fulton County, where each of their victims are people of color. The people that they destroyed, the people that they hurt, the people that they tarnished. Young boys. Rodalius Ryan could have had a promise in life.
Oh,
what is it?
no,
He is murdered
no,
at the hands of
no,
YSL.
no, you didn't bring up Lil Rod. Do y'all remember Angela was on my channel? Angela was on my channel about a week ago. And we had a wonderful intellectual discussion about Little Rod. We talked about Rodalius Ryan. She just said that young man could have had a promising life, but he's out here committing crimes on behalf of YSL. And it was such a wonderful conversation because Angela exposed the corruption of the state and how Little Rod's, like him being pinned with that crime, it wasn't investigated fully. There were holes in the investigation. If y'all were here with me that day, and we even clipped it. And posted it, and that video is doing well. But guess what? Angela talked about this. And it's really funny to me that YSL is a gang. And, you know, there's puzzle pieces on the screen behind her. And it's connecting all of these crimes. Because remember, it's Rico, right? We've been looking for Rico. We've been looking for this man all over the place. We're like, Rico, you over here? Rico, you over there? Rico, you under the chair? Rico, where you at? Do you see those puzzle pieces? They are taking all of the crimes and connecting them. And I bet you, I haven't seen this yet, I bet you she's going to be like, oh, yes, because she's saying it's not a gang. This is how it's connecting back to Rico. This is funny.
Christian Eppinger at the hands of YSL. Go catch you a body. That's how you become slime. That's what he says in his song. Go catch you a body. I'll show you how to be slime. And that's what these little boys are doing. Catching a body to be slime. But they want to tell you that we got a vendetta on people of color? It's ridiculous. It's absurd. And intimidation. These two defendants, Mr. Kendrick and Mr. Stillwell, are guilty. They are guilty of murder. They are guilty of gang acts. They're guilty of conspiracy to violate RICO. And I ask of you, look at the evidence. Look at the law. I know it took some time. I know you probably want to go home and get your turkey. I know I get it. But I am asking you all to go back there, finish this marathon, finish this race, hold them accountable for their actions. When you apply the law with the facts and the evidence, there's only one just conclusion, that these defendants are guilty. Ladies and gentlemen, evil prevails when good men and women do nothing. I've asked you to do something. I've asked you to hold them accountable. I'm asking you to return a verdict of guilty. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for your attention and your patience during this very long day. I know this was not an easy day for y'all. It's been a lot of hours here in the courtroom today, but y'all paid good attention and close attention, and everybody appreciates that. So let me give you some instructions before you return tomorrow. To maintain the integrity of this trial, remember that you must decide this case based only on the evidence submitted during the trial and the law as I will explain it to you. I have not yet given you this law. I will do that tomorrow. So it's not yet time to deliberate. Do not conduct any research on your own about this case or about any people or places mentioned during the trial, including online, through the internet, through any kind of traditional media or references, through social media, or by asking anyone anything about this case, and not from any other source, electronic or otherwise, should you get information about this case or about the law. Do not watch, read, or listen to any accounts of this trial that might appear in the news media, on social media, or through any other type of communication with anyone. In short, as I've told you before, do not seek any information, including even hypothetical questions about this case, from any source outside the confines of this courtroom. And until the deliberations begin, which is not going to be until tomorrow, after you have heard the law that applies to this case. Do not discuss this case with anyone or even amongst yourselves. Do not allow anybody to discuss it with you. Remember, you all have a late start tomorrow, so I'll see y'all at 11. We won't have a traditional long lunch break since we're starting late, so go ahead and eat something before you get here and come in ready to get back to business on the case. We'll see you at 11. Thank you.
All right, the jury?
Big day tomorrow. We got a decision to make.
All right, and for all of y'all, because we all still have some business to wrap up and, dot all the i's and cross the t's on before we join the jury joins us again, let's plan to be here at 9:30. All right, see everybody then. Thank you.
All right, y'all.
Yes.
That concludes the trial proceedings for the day. I wanted to pop on here real quick and just cover that last part because Doug Weinstein and Max Shard's portions, especially Max's, were a little bit longer. So I've taken some time to take some notes, put together a little presentation for you guys. I'm going to try to sign on at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning and walk you through that. And then we're going to compare it to Hilton's part. Now, I'm not going to play the whole thing because that's a long day. It was a very long day for the jury, and I imagine it was a very long day for you guys that were watching throughout the day on different platforms, checking in with all these folks. So it's going to be big. They're going to deliberate, and we have a poll going right now. I really want to see what you guys are thinking before we end the night. How long will it take the jury to deliberate? 34% of you are saying end of day tomorrow. And 32% of you coming in second place say Wednesday. Then, half day tomorrow is another choice. We've got 19% there. And then very small percentage of you guys, 16%, think that it is going to be next week. So, gonna be a really exciting day. I will be here on my side at 9 a.m. Got a lot of stuff going on. I didn't get enough time to fill you in because my flight was delayed, but I've made it to Atlanta. I'm here. And we'll see if there's time to go to the courthouse because I thought they were going to deliberate or they were going to continue closings into tomorrow, but it looks like they tried to cram it all into today and not really give the jury a lot of time. So we will be back here in the morning. I'll give you my thoughts on how the defense attorneys did. We will tune in at 9:30 to see what business they have to go through, and then the jury returns at 11. So we're going to be on verdict watch tomorrow. We're going to see how long it takes them and see if any of you guys are right. Huge shout out to all of the people that donated to the stream. Shout out to Real Savage. Thank you so much. I miss you guys too. TLGC stopped through. Miss L Boogie was in here. D let me know. You guys were like, hey, we were concerned. We missed you. Y'all was leaving comments on all of my socials. You're like, where are you, AV? Delayed flight, but I have made it. Shout out to Miss Crow T. Shetty who stopped through. D hit me again with the 2. Dub Right Side was in here. Gifted memberships. D was in here as well. ZMT Indy was giving out memberships. Say Less Do More became a member. Full Drinking Half Thinking. Say Less Do More. We got Dub Right Side again. Shout out to Pam. Say Less Do More. Huge shout out to Full Drinking and Half Thinking. Pam again. Trainwreck, your stream sponsor, hit your girl with an even 200 tonight. Thank you so much for that. Mixed Chick Sammy, the sister to the channel, and Dub Right Side again. All right, y'all. It's been a long night. Let's all get some sleep and see what happens tomorrow. It's going to be amazing. Stay safe out there. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.